Obviously, today you named your leadership group. What does it mean for each of those guys to be wearing a lot of?
Well, first of all, to have Michael Mersch back as our captain, for me as a coach, is just such a great opportunity because he takes care of so much. He lives and acts the way we want our team to act. He treats everybody with just immense respect. And as a head coach, you put your head on the pillow at night feeling really good about your team when he's your captain. Now, Prowsey comes back as an alternate. He's been that the last couple of years. What Michael Mersch does for the team, Prowsey does for the D-Corps. Just an amazing leader, amazing teammate. One of the toughest players I've ever coached. Prowsey doesn't get enough credit for that. Everybody talks about his offense. He's been one of the best offensive defensemen in the American League the last 2 years. He's one of the toughest players I've ever coached. The injuries he plays through, the amount of shots that he blocks, like hard blocks. He's just an amazing teammate and player. And then we're going to add Brett Murray and Brandon Byro as alternate captains as well. One will wear it at home, one will wear it on the road to join Prowsey in that regard. And both those guys are, guys that have been Amherst for a few years now. They're heart and soul guys. They're guys that have become elite players for us. They've worked their way into that. When they were younger here, they weren't go-to guys. They weren't the drivers of the team. And through their hard work and development, they've become those go-to guys and leaders. So I'm really proud of those two for the players and the people they've turned themselves into.
You mentioned
No.
Obviously, captains get their silent leaders that once they're more vocal. What to you are the qualities that a captain needs to embody to have that?
Well, I think that, we'll have other guys that join a leadership group that we'll fill out as well on top of our captains because we've got a lot of other real good voices in that room. Captains, I think they have to have their own qualities. I want my captain to be themselves. So I don't think there's a book that you can have that says the captain has to do this. I think at the end of the day, captains are team first, right? They want success for the team. They want success for their teammates individually, and they live the standard on a daily basis, right? The work ethic, the identity, the way we want to go about our business here, they need to live that. But they have to do it their own way. Some captains are rah-rah, stand up and slam their fist down and give these inspiring speeches. And some are more just how consistent they go about their daily business. And I think the beauty of Merschy is he and I have a lot of trust with each other that's been earned over years. And he trusts me for my responsibilities. And I have just implicit trust in him to take care of his.
Generally working on a story about feeding the Emirates, essentially. We're talking so with many other people, but from a head coach's perspective, we'll talk about nutrition, making sure players are getting what they need to do well. Why is that important from your perspective? How's that changed since you've been in this role or been on?
Well, we're really fortunate to have Mike and his crew feed us, right? They're a great company. They have a great product, not just for us, but what they do for the public as well. So, and we're also fortunate that the Sabres organization that we provide 2 meals for our prospects every day. That's not always the case in the American Hockey League. Sometimes it might only be 1. So our players come in, they have breakfast, and at the end of the day before they leave, they have lunch. And first of all, that's huge, especially for the younger guys that are just starting to become pros. They don't know yet everything it takes to be a pro, how you have to take care of your body on and off the ice, the things you have to do nutrition-wise, how you have to hydrate. And we have a great staff from the Sabres that comes down. They work with our guys. They help talk to our guys about the things they should be putting in our body, what we should not be putting in our body, and how to best optimize your athleticism and genetics to make yourself the best hockey player you can as you try to chase down the National Hockey League. So it's a critical importance. And at the end of the day, it's not just how hard you practice and train. If you're not eating right, hydrating right, sleeping right, you're not going to maximize your performance. And those are things we want to get our players to understand. For me, they have a lot of great meals, but I like their Taco Tuesday.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, Patrick.
Patrick.
Yeah, just Seth, thanks for doing this. Just to expand a little bit on the kind of the whole process of bringing these young players into the pro ranks, not just on the ice, but off the ice. You mentioned the meals and, how challenging is that? Because, it's not just hockey that they're dealing with. They're dealing with adult life and all the challenges that come with being a 20, 21-year-old kid.
Yeah, those things are critical because if we don't provide enough support for them off of the ice in their life, then they're not going to be good on the ice at 18, 19, 20 years old. Obviously, we've had a lot of really, really young players in the last couple of years, and we still do. And so for guys like Yuri Kulik and Isak Rosen at the ages they were last year, and Victor Neuchev and Nikita Novikov this year, they have to have life in order, and there's a lot that goes into it. A lot of it falls on their teammates. We have a great older group that looks out for our players and takes care of our young guys. Then some falls on the coaching staff. I check in with, especially the young guys, I check in with them almost every day. How life is, how their living setup is, do they miss home, how their parents are doing, siblings, things like that. Because that's such a critical component of them succeeding on the ice. And then our video coordinator, who also is team services, Amir Gulati, does just an unbelievable job with those guys. Kind of hand-holding them at the start, making sure they get into proper apartments that are going to be good homes, that are close to the rink, that have other players around them so they have a support network. For example, with Neuchev and Novikov, they're young, but they're married, so they have Russian wives coming with them. There's a lot of things that go into that, and Amir, I'm really fortunate that Amir does a fantastic job of making sure their finances, their apartment, their living setup is all taken care of, so they can become great hockey players.
And then just to follow up on that, obviously you have your background with the U.S. development program, and so much is made of how players today are so much more prepared on the ice than they used to be at a younger age. Do you find that extends off the ice as well, to kind of how players or are teenagers and 20-year-olds still kind of the same as they have always been?
I think they're pretty similar to how they've always been. I don't fall into the kids these days comments. I don't think that they're much different. There's differences because of how they've grown up, and that's fine. Every generation has that. They're more worldly. They understand more things. They have more information at their fingertips with the way that phones and technology work. So there's always differences. But at the end of the day, the core of who they are as 18, 19, 20-year-olds is very similar. Most 18, 19, 20-year-olds, it's a big adjustment to, especially the ones that haven't lived away from home yet. Those are things that we saw at USA. If a kid had left home and played prep school or things like that, sometimes the adjustment wasn't as hard. But for the first time leaving home, leaving mom and dad, living on your own, living in an apartment. But sometimes the European players go through those things when they move away to a different club at a younger age. So at the end of the day, I do think they're very similar, and they're similar challenges. And like I said earlier, if their life is in order off the ice, in their habits and how they're living, it's a lot easier for us to help them become great players on the ice.